Wait a minute, Credo.
Yes.
How about this, bro? I know my group chat has been lit for the last 2 nights, bro. I'm sure everybody else's is, man. How was yours?
I don't know. I don't know too much about the group chats. I mean, what happens in a group chat stays in a group chat.
Of course. But I mean, we can't just sit there and say how annoyed you were at Io Sky winning that title.
A little here, a little there. I mean, right before Mania, we're weeks away.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I told Credo that Sam's Club is having a sale on new TVs. I'm sure he smashed the out of his.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine being that upset to smash it. But I'm saying there's things that happen that I'm like, come on. We have a lot to talk about. I mean, we're coming back from winter. We're defrosting.
Yeah, welcome back, dude.
We're defrosting a little bit. I thought we were going to come back earlier, but we're kind of like coming back during a spring break almost, it seems like. But we're getting ready. We're on the road to WrestleMania, the most important part of the year. So we gotta bring it back. Come back, defrost a little bit. It's been a while.
Okay.
I had a crazy day today, Cooter. Ask me how crazy it was.
How crazy was your day, Credo?
Crazy enough that I spent 5 hours online just to meet the immortal one, Hulk Hogan himself.
Oh, shit.
Hulk Hogan.
You went to one of those beer things, yeah?
So I got a little surprise. I got the real American beer here for you. Signed by the Hulk Hogan.
Typical fucking Mark. The only person I know who will wait in line for 5 hours for a fucking 12-pack?
For a 12-pack. And I've never had real American beer, so I figure, here you go. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
I think we should kind of have like our own little taste test on here. You know, it's not to take the gimmick away, but I wish I were Prosciutto, also a Beacon podcasting.
Sorry, we stole your bro. But we're doing this.
Also a Beacon podcasting favorite. So yeah, man, let's something. In case you want more, I tried it for an hour. All right, so this took me 5 hours to get, Cooter. It's the real American beer.
Oh, boy.
Hulk Hogan's real American beer. I've never had it before. We're going to have a taste test. I just saw him up in Poughkeepsie. He signed the box, if you can see it.
We're in...
Right here at ShopRite. I met the immortal Hulk Hogan at a ShopRite today. 5 hours. You're supposed to be there 5. I figured I'd be waiting 2 hours. I got there at 3. Didn't show up till like 7:45. By the time I met him, it was like 8:16.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Exactly. So, hey, here's to real American beer. Let's get the show.
Let's try this.
Let's get the show going. Mine's a little. Here
Cheers.
we go. Cheers. First time I never had real American beer. It's not bad.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
I mean, I wouldn't have waited 5 hours for it like a fucking Mark, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay. It's like
Sal, you're gonna like this, bro.
It reminds me of like a Budweiser, but Bud has that aftertaste right away. It doesn't have like an aftertaste. Like it's smooth. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, we better cut that one out.
I don't know. It's pretty good. I'm surprised. I'm not even trying to talk this up, but real American beer, I'm okay with it. This is not bad. Not that bad. I drink it.
Train, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, be true to yourself, true to your country, be a real American. Whew.
While we've been gone,
yes,
what have you enjoyed and what have you not enjoyed?
Well, a lot. I enjoyed a lot of more naps. I've been able to sleep more.
I meant about wrestling, you fucking Mark.
I've been able to, collect myself over the winter time. What have I liked more? I've been watching the LFG a little bit. I know that just started though recently. It kind of reminds me of Tough Enough. If you're a fan of Tough Enough,
it's got the feel, yeah.
Yeah, it's got that feel on it. At first, I didn't think they realized what letters they picked for the show. Legends and future greats, and I was like, from Deadpool Wolverine, it was like, let's fucking go. And I was like, do they realize that's, and then they started saying it. I was like, oh, okay, they're saying it in the name. But
okay,
watching that a little bit. Not too much of other stuff. Like I said, I get lost in Call of Duty sometimes. I'm like, it's my escape of just not to do anything except for run around and kill people.
Okay.
In a little area. But other than that, we
got a little homicidal Mark on our hands over there. Great.
But within wrestling, I think it's the same thing because I'm going back. I'm still digging around to see if AEW is doing anything. to tune into. I haven't.
They've had some stuff that's kind of piqued my interest, but you know.
MJF, man. I think if you talk about MJF is the only draw for me to go back because I want to hear what he says. I want to see what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things. Didn't he just get a tattoo removed? Or didn't he had the AEW tattoo?
He must have seen that episode where I said it's a dumb tattoo. It is.
It may he just like realize now at this point that it's like, all right, I gotta.
I'll tell you what I've enjoyed: the fact that I can't call anything. Like usually, things are predictable, and I want to say like maybe up to Survivor Series, we kind of all knew where everything was headed. They got us guessing about who's going to be in what main event, who's going to be what match. I can't call it, and I'm enjoying that because it's a reason to watch as opposed to I'm only watching so I can be that guy who goes, called it. Like, you know what I mean?
Going back to the Rumble, we went to Shapiro's house, had a nice array of food.
He put on a nice spread.
Nice spread.
Pause.
And I think what was great about that is that it was a big party, right? You had a lot of people there, but at the same time, everybody was surprised with Jey Uso winning it at that night because nobody called it. No. If anything, if you're looking at that end, everybody was like, all right, Cena's going to get it because it's his last year. I did not see Jey Uso winning it. And so that was really, and that's the thing is like, I'm not mad. I like it, but I was surprised. And like, that's what I loved about wrestling. This is what I love about wrestling.
And that's one of the things that I hate about it is because of something like that. You have the internet wrestling community. Yep. It's like, they're always crying for something different.
You give it to them.
And something new. And then when you do, they're like, oh my God, just shut up. Oh God, these keyboard warriors are just crybabies.
There's been a divide. At some point in time, everybody, when AEW came around, everybody liked it. Yeah. And then there was a split to where it's like, everybody's like, forget about WWE. I'm only AEW. And then when AEW started turning bad, you started seeing those people like, but no, wait, it's still good. The story, they're still trying to fight for it, but they'll hate on WWE stuff. So like for that example, when that happened, the Jey Uso thing, I saw a lot of people liking it, and then you see some of those AEW marks coming in being like, oh, no, well, come on. That's his, I'm like,
all right.
That's what I saw about it.
I'm going to throw some stuff out that I hate.
Okay.
Ladies of wrestling, can we maybe dress a little bit more appropriately? I've seen and it's not that I don't want to see these things, but the point is that I got creeps sending me GIFs of this nip slip.
These guys,
man. In this girl's butthole. I mean, I don't want to point any fingers.
I know. I'm saying, who would do this stuff? I swear. If they ever get into a group chat, we're going to find these guys.
In the last month alone, I think I've seen more titties and buttholes and pussies than I did my entire marriage.
Pause. No, there's been quite a few. There's been a lot of stuff happening
lately.
And, I think most recently at the Chamber, I think I had a kind of like, did that really happen? Bianca was kind of tugging on her pants and,
Oh, there you go. Oh, so you're the one who put it in slow motion. By the way,
the internet is a lonely and dark place when you start searching for stuff that people are putting out there.
Imagine, and that's the thing. Imagine explaining that when you're like, your girl's talking to you, and all of a sudden you get a text message. And you're like, bleep, bleep, what is this? She's like, oh, who was that? I'm like, oh, it's the group chat.
It's nothing. The
and all of a sudden there's like a gaping. I'm like, what? She's like, who? You're disgusting. I'm like, I didn't send it.
And it's always those moments where people walk in and then they're looking at the camera, they're looking at the TV and being like, oh, what are you watching? And like you have to explain, oh, this is just wrestling, and it's like the most awkward moment. This is just wait, I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah, but man, wrestling fans you are all creeps, and ladies, just just a little more fabric.
A little more fabric.
Just a little more, please.
Cover up. This is
you're making it bad for me at home.
That's definitely right up there with that, man. Because I think going from that, those things have been popping up with that.
Pause.
We also got to enjoy ACW at the beginning of this year. I think we were away we went right into Awesome Championship Wrestling and the Poughkeepsie Rumble.
That was a fun show.
It was, man, and it was a great time. I think we got to have a little bit different perspective on the show than others would have. We got to kind of
usually we're either watching it on TV, we're in the crowd, or if you're ballers like us, that one time we're in the press box.
The press box.
What I mean? But this was a different vantage point.
Yeah.
Us being backstage and I learned something from that. It's not just a bigger appreciation. It's a more respect because the one thing that I've learned from that experience is that people like me should not have a wrestling podcast because we do not know what the we are talking about.
So I'm saying, man, it's there's more that goes into it. There's more than meets the eye from what you see on TV because there's a lot of things going on backstage. And I think a lot of people don't have the appreciation for that to where I think a lot of people know, yes, there's things happening or things get set up, but they don't understand the pressures that go into a live show. And I was talking to you before the show. I was like, if you check this out, also during break, I was watching Saturday Night. It's called. It's on Netflix. It's about the first show of Saturday Night Live, and it's really good because it's like 45 minutes before showtime, 10 minutes before showtime. Yes. It's kind of like that pressure of like, okay, you
get to see how the sausage is made, and I'll pause that one too. Yeah. but yeah, I get exactly what you mean.
And it's really it's intense, and that's how I felt during that night too, because we did a lot of stuff backstage for ACW, but even just going into the show, there's a lot of things that go on.
Yeah.
And we're not wrestlers, but like my wrestling ring is like media, right? So that's my ring. But at the same time, there's just as much pressure as it is behind the scenes as it is in front of the scenes. And when you're backstage and you get that luxury of being able to be a part of a promotion and see, the back area. Pause.
Well, you could pause that one. I'm done with this shit.
You have more of an appreciation of what it takes to put on these kind of shows. But I mean, wrestling's back here in Poughkeepsie. Awesome championship wrestling. The Poughkeepsie Rumble. We loved it. It's on Triller TV Plus, Triller Plus right now. So check it out. This is ACW.com. But May 17th, Cooter, they're coming back. Back in Poughkeepsie. Aftershock.
We got a nice little card shaping up here.
I think on the first show, Matt Cardona challenged the champion who was going to win, and Richard Holiday is the first ACW heavyweight champion. And at the show, Cardona called in. He's on the big Titantron, if you will.
The belt collector.
The belt collector himself. Yes. I know, man. So that's kind of exciting because I mean, Matt Cardona has kind of made it. Matt Cardona made a name for himself in WWE, and then even outside WWE, he's made an even bigger name for himself.
I'd say so, yeah.
And so, I'm excited for this kind of a match. So, a lot of things are happening on it. We went from January, it's coming to May. In May, there's going to be 3 new championships introduced at the show. There's going to be a national title, like a United States champion, if you will.
Cool.
New tag team championships.
Nice.
And a women's championship on top of the ACW championship being on the line that night, too. So they did announce one match, which is the Now. We had Hale Collins and Vic Delicious in the studio. They're going to be taking on Senta Slaughter in a cage match at Aftershock on May 17th.
Ooh, after that, was the tables match, I believe, that we saw at the last show, was it not?
That was. And hell of a tables match. And now it's going to be not only a cage match, but it's going to be for the tag team championships.
Always better when there's something on the line other than bragging rights.
I can't remember the last time I saw a cage match in the Civic Center. Like, the most memorable one, it goes back many podcasts, where I saw the Honky Tonk Man rise to the top and somebody pulled his pants down. And I just remember seeing the Honky Tonk Man's ass. That's the only story I got. But no, I'm excited.
You believe the you went from
that was in the 80s.
I got to go see Hulk Hogan to talking about Honky Tonk's ass. This fucking guy.
This is a nostalgia trip for everybody listening. We go from the past to the present, back to the past, and into the now, having a cage match at the Civic Center.
Wow, well done. Okay, well done.
But we're excited. I think like I said, we found so much more appreciation for the business, let alone just awesome championship wrestling from being there in January. May 17th, they're back. Matt Cardona versus Richard Holiday. We got these new championships. We got the Now versus Senta Slaughter for the tag championships. More people are being announced day by day. Moose, TNA, he's in NXT next week. He's going to be at the show too. The current X Division champion. I mean, it's getting exciting. It's getting exciting, and it's only their second show. So I mean, what better way to do it than celebrate it? Go to it, check it out with us. We'll be there. This is ACW.com. Get your tickets now before they sell out, and it's only getting better each week. So I mean, can't say it more than enough. Guys, got to go. Cooter, what else has been going on? We talked about AEW, MJF. What's keeping us in? What's keeping us going? Aside from AEW, TNA and WWE have had like a new deal to where they're absorbing their talent into NXT shows. NXT talent is going on to TNA shows. We just said Moose is fighting Obafemi.
Yep.
Is for the NXT Championship. I think it's title for title. Moose versus Oba is for the X Division and the TNA Championship.
No. The X Division and the NXT. Oh, you did say NXT. I thought you said TNA.
TNA X Division.
Boy, I forgot how to do this.
I know it.
Yo.
We're trying to like work out the cobwebs on this first show back, and it's like, bear with us, folks. We're just it's been a few months, right?
Okay.
So, it's exciting because I'm excited about that. It's almost like TNA was kind of like struggling, and then just when you thought, I don't know what's going to happen with them, they found this partnership with WWE.
I think they were getting better way before that, though, and it's not just
for sure.
It's not just Joe Hendry. There's a plethora of talent over there, and they
have
the most important thing. I think they have a loyal fan base from day one. There's been diehards that have stuck with them from the lowest of the lows, from the highest of the highs to the bull times to the best of times, and right now they're on an upswing and they're doing a hell of a job over there.
No, it's I'm glad to see this breath of life take fold in TNA with this WWE deal, and is it another like shitting on AEW kind of a thing, being like, well, we don't want to partner with you, we're going to go partner with TNA. And
well, they did partner with them, and it was a shitstorm.
Yeah.
Oh God. I don't ever want to relive any of those nights. Watching Kenny Omega on TNA winning their belt and all that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, AEW was trying to, like, go around as much as they could, and it just, I don't know, they didn't work with them or whatnot. But this is a very exciting thing because it's, like I said, it's breathing some life in there. I think Jordan Grace, who also just finished up in TNA, she is now signed to NXT, I believe. Yeah. So there's a little bit of working relationship. It kind of spreads the doors for NXT, helps TNA out. It helps the TNA talent get more face recognition on NXT and vice versa. And I think it's kind of like it's a great thing. I don't think you would have never seen Vince doing this. I'm glad that Triple H has kind of like opened the doors for this. And it's cool that we won't see a name like TNA die out in a way to where it kind of looks like they were fizzling out, kind of came back, and now with this
struggling even to get a TV deal anywhere. Yeah, I remember, man, terrible.
So it's once again 2025, an exciting time to see this happen. So that's been exciting too, especially being able to have these names jump back and forth to all these shows. So as a fan, it's a win-win situation. We are on that road to WrestleMania, though.
I know.
I do want to touch upon Jey Uso again because I know we talked about it. It was a surprise to us. We were surprised at the Royal Rumble about this win. Are you excited for a possible Jey Uso victory over Gunther? Do you see Jey Uso becoming a world champion then? Because now this would be 2 years in a row. Last year, Gunther lost.
Yeah, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, to Sami Zayn. And then I think, so he's... Not that it's a bad thing. He's had a really good run with these championships, but then like he'll lose to that Mania. Do you think we're going to lead up to the first world champion, Jey Uso?
I don't know, and I don't care. I'm going to be very honest with you. I love Gunther as champion. I would love to see Jey Uso as a champion. I'm like happy either way because most importantly for me, the storytelling has been awesome.
Yeah.
From people who, and you get those assholes who say, oh, Gunther can't talk, he can't cut a promo. He is carrying this feud as much as Jey Uso is, not just with his in-ring work, but he's doing a hell of a job on the mic. And the back and forth that those two have, they have great chemistry. So I'm looking forward to it. So whatever the outcome is I'm really happy with it.
You mentioned before, how it's kind of like keeping you guessing. And that's what's great as a fan, right?
Yeah.
Triple H is working wonders with this. I know we joked a little bit about Io Sky and stuff in the beginning to where, I mean, having her win the championship now when like the next pay-per-view is WrestleMania.
Yeah, and just when you thought it might be a possibility that Charlotte might be challenging Rhea.
Yeah.
Instead went with Tiffy. And I don't think anybody saw that. I always thought that they were going to try to do the best of three.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And man, what a swerve.
I know. So he's keeping us guessing, and that's what's great. That's what's great about being a wrestling fan now. And I think the build to WrestleMania is even better, and it's not as predictable as what it once was in a way to where, I don't know, we have no idea what's happening, right? There's something big that happened, which we'll get into in a little bit. But other than that, the road to WrestleMania, I think I'm enjoying it this year. I think there hasn't been anything since the beginning of the year that's really bothered me as far as WWE goes,
Except for Io Sky winning the title.
we'll see what happens. It's still on the road to WrestleMania. So, but not too much, though. I mean, it's building up now. They only have like a handful of matches. It was going to be Rhea versus Bianca, but now is it going to be Io versus Bianca? And then we'll see Rhea maybe win her way back into this match somehow.
Oh, don't be one of those fans, man. Just analyze what you've seen, not worry. This is what I've learned.
Yeah.
Honestly, this year, instead of analyzing what I hope or what I think is going to happen, I've gotten to just enjoy and analyze what I've seen.
All right.
And that, as a fan, I think is something that's just getting lost because the way we consume media now, everything has to.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore. I'm old, Credo. We're middle-aged men, talking about fucking pro wrestling. I'm not trying to be the booker no more. I can't do this shit.
Touche. That's it, man. No, I get you. We got to live in the now, like the now, right?
All right, you've overused that one. So let's talk about the other side of the coin with Cody, because up until what happened, we thought it might be Punk.
Yep.
They had that face-to-face. He said he's going to stab him in the front. We had that face-to-face with Cody and Rollins, where Rollins told him, "Hey, man, after everything that I gave up for you, don't throw it all away." And we thought we might get a Seth and Cody thing, you know. And where this has led us, Credo, please tell me what you are thinking right now.
I'm kind of upset, Cooter. Let's talk about Punk alone, because I mean, last year we were excited to see him back on the road to WrestleMania, if you will. Gets injured, doesn't have that WrestleMania match. Okay.
But he had one of the greatest moments of the card, dude.
No, for sure. Okay. So now fast forward a year later, I feel like the past few months have been building up for him to be in the main event at WrestleMania.
There's still time, bro.
I know. And so as we build up, I was kind of mad, and it's the elephant in the room, the Cena heel turn. We'll talk about it to where with what led up to that, but like minus that for now, I'm talking about, okay, Punk didn't win the Elimination Chamber, so now where does he stand? Oh, okay, Seth Rollins messed him up. Are we going to have him go against Seth again? We've already seen him beat him. I don't want to see another match. I think they're having another match next week.
And MSG is going to be the cage match.
So, okay, now after that happens.
How do you top that at a WrestleMania?
Exactly. Really? And then, now I'm sick of the CM Punk versus Seth matches to where I want CM Punk to have a championship match. I want him to be.
I don't even care if he loses.
Yeah.
I just want him to have that moment.
Exactly.
I get that.
So I'm not. That's where I'm
dwelling on it. Stop dwelling on it.
And even after all that, though, where's that? What could this favor be? What if you had and it can't be granted by anybody. It has to be a Paul Heyman favor. So if Punk still uses this favor in the back of his pocket, if what we're thinking might happen, how would it get him into the main event or what?
So you want me to armchair book when I just told you not to?
I know. Don't do that. But I'm saying if he has this,
I'll do it. I mean,
because is it a favor? And all I'm saying is like, okay, is it the favor to go against Roman at WrestleMania?
I think.
But then
I think the favor is going to be to tell Roman to get into the Rock's ear and get him in that main event, because I think we're going to see Roman at Raw. I think he's going to get involved with that cage match and cost Seth after what Seth did to him at the Rumble. Because we haven't seen Roman since the Rumble. And after that vicious stomp, not once.
And that'd be a better twice. WrestleMania match. I think Roman versus Seth and that whole history right there, that's a Mania match. So Punk. For me as a Punk fan, look at your shirt. I was hoping for that to happen. But I think we have to get to what's been on everybody talking about right now is the Cena heel turn, right?
Fuck them kids, Credo.
Kids, right? Fuck them.
Fuck them kids, Sal.
Poor Cena. So his first thoughts. He's not going to be on Raw till March 17th, which is still 2 weeks away. Up until this, I mean, people have always wanted to see it. They haven't seen it. I remember filming years ago at a WrestleMania 39 presser where somebody was asking about a Cena heel turn. And he takes his foot and turns his heel. And one of those videos is like one of the number one videos I posted for Cena for something or whatever it was. We haven't had it's been talking for years. Like almost half of his career has been talking about how come you haven't turned heel? When are you going to turn heel? And we led up to this moment of like the Cena goodbye tour. I think our last show we were talking about, in 2025, it's going to be Cena's last year. And now leading up to it, I think even at the Rumble, we watched it and I'm like, oh, okay, he made it into the last moment. Okay, he's not going to win it just yet. And so I thought we were going to get a year of that right away to where it's like, oh, next pay-per-view, oh, he was almost close that he didn't win it. And I thought he was going to be on a losing streak to the end of the year. And then he finally wins that one. And then he says goodbye. Or what we're getting now, which is, who would have guessed that his second match back from, his farewell tour, he's turning heel. And I'm excited for it. I want to see it. It's not one of those things where I don't think people are going to cheer him. I feel like they're going to boo him just like they always boo him. But we're finally going to get something different from him, and it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be like, oh, thanks everybody, I'm on my farewell tour. I feel like it's something different for one last hurrah of John Cena, and I think it's good. He could be heel up to the last day, and then the last day he turns back and says goodbye, and then that's it. That's fine. But I'm excited for this heel turn. I don't know. Are you excited to see him as a heel, as a bad guy?
No.
Not at all.
No.
No.
You know why?
Why?
It's 15 fucking years too late.
All right.
No. Fuck this. I'm going off right now. Okay. Here you are. I think it was a great segment. It was a great turn. I think it went off really well. But he needs to be on TV. Oh, you're going to leave me guessing for 2 more weeks?
Long time.
It's like the worst heel turn ever. You just do something diabolical that we've never thought we would ever see. I'm just going to disappear for 3 weeks.
That should have been the first minute.
What the fuck are we doing? He should have been the first person out on Raw.
Yep.
Okay? If this heel turn is going to work, he needs to be on TV more. Not like The Rock, who we used to bitch at for, via satellite. I don't want to... If you're having a farewell tour, you have to be there for me to say farewell.
That's true.
So that's why I feel like the heel turn is great, but it's too late, and it's just not going to be enough unless we start seeing more of him when he comes back on the 17th, and it's more, week to week, and we start.
No, yeah. It was shocking because when we were talking about it in a group chat, we were like, so wait, when is he coming back? And we're looking at dates and when he's advertised, and we're like 17th. That's half a month away, and it's after something that big, you're gonna wait a half a month to come back and talk about it. That's ridiculous in the world of TV.
It was the bit okay, when Hogan turned with the NWO.
That was the next night. The next
night, he's sitting there after he had that scathing promo, where he pissed on the fans. He was there the next fucking night. The best thing that's come out of this heel turn so far is the fucking memes. Like the one of him staring at the Wrestlemania sign and somebody put the N and W next to the bald spot of the O on his head. That's the greatest thing ever. The memes have been better because I feel like there's no content to support this kind of a turn.
No, and it's, people are like, oh, it wasn't as shocking as Hogan's. And it was, well, it's a different time, different place because I feel like Hogan's was shocking. This was shocking, but no one's throwing cans at him in garbage. But
it's so different.
It is very different.
You know what the difference is?
What's that?
Hogan was the all-American face. Nobody ever thought he would ever turn his back on anybody.
Yeah, still...
And Cena was always the 50-50. The crowd always either half loved him or half hated him. It doesn't have the same impact, I feel, as a Hogan, because you always thought one day that Cena might. You never thought that Hogan would.
Yeah, and even Hogan had a 10-year career after that too. So it wasn't like he did it at the last year of his.
Yo, you know what? You know what? The other thing that drives me nuts. The fans are finally respecting Cena. Where every single time he comes to the ring, it's nothing but cheers, right? And now all of a sudden you're doing this farewell tour, and your fans are finally being respectful. You're going to use this to fucking his last year where he should be, made to look great and, on his way out, and maybe put a few guys over and make it a legit farewell tour. Not main event shovel Cena. Who did you bury for that one, Sean? It just doesn't do shit for me.
What I was getting mad at is because this goes back exactly what Punk was saying many years ago, to where he would get the main event, but then Rock would come back and take it.
Yeah.
And then look what happens now is Rock comes in, gives it, granted, a lot of whatever, but it's Rock and Cena taking away what could have been another CM Punk main event, but anything could happen, right? We're not going to talk about that. But so it's interesting. I mean, it's something that was really big that happened, and now we're not going to see it for another 2 weeks for his reaction. I know he tweeted or did something, but it's not the same thing. You got to be on camera the next night, especially after something big like that.
Yeah, I know, and I know it went off, but I've been the guy who just says, just sit there and wait. Just sit there and wait.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be patient.
All right.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to be a dick when I'm podcasting, okay? This is what I do, okay?
We're working out the feather. We're working out the...
No. There's no feathers to work out. Okay.
Well, no, it's interesting. Okay, because like once again... Once we saw him at the Rumble and then we saw him lose, because at that moment everybody's like, oh, Cena's going to win it now. It was obvious, and then he didn't win it, and then it was kind of like, okay, is this going to be like
no,
his year?
You know what? F*** you.
Yeah.
Because you know what?
I won the Rumble. I run the pool.
F*** you. Fuck that, okay? That's not where I'm going with that. Who were the final three?
Jey Uso, John Cena, and...
Logan Paul. And I'm pretty sure it was you. You were like, holy fuck, Logan Paul's going to win the Royal Rumble, because nobody thought it was going to be Jay, and you never thought it was going to be Cena. Credo thought it was going to be Logan Paul, and then somehow ends up winning a fucking pool.
I did draw
you, bro.
Number 19, was it Jey Uso or whatever he was?
Bastard.
As soon as you get that, I'm like, oh, I'm not winning the money this time. And then when it came down to it, I was like, wow, how much did I win? Tell me again. What did I get? No, it's interesting. So, but like even going back to seeing him at the Rumble, we didn't really know what the year was going to look like. And then this is the second time it happens. And for him to turn and do this kind of a thing, I'm interested. I'm kind of seeing where they're going to go with it throughout the rest of the year. Because like I know we have to foreshadow. We're on the road to WrestleMania, but if as of now he's facing Cody at Mania, the odds don't look good for him. They didn't look good for him last year, but Cody still won it. But I feel like heel Cena beating Cody at Mania, then he carries that till maybe SummerSlam or something. I don't know. I think Ric Flair's already tweeting that he doesn't want Cena to win it or something.
I saw that. If he could get his drunk ass out of that pizza parlor sober enough to make it to the fucking show, maybe.
Woo, Ric Flair. So I'm intrigued. Like I said, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with it. I don't know what they plan on doing with it. He was kind of looking like a RoboCop at the end. It was very, it was funny as soon as he went from happy to sad.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him do this kind of thing, and we're not getting like Thugonomics John Cena, or I'm kind of curious of what he's going to bring as far as being the bad guy.
Do you think he changes his music?
I think so. Actually, someone said March 17th, 2003, 8 or whatever it was. Like that's when he debuted his song. So like even coming back that same day, maybe he might debut a new song or whatever.
Well, let's change the topic. I'm going to ask you a question. Since you were so hung up about the Punk thing,
yep.
Do you think it's a hang up for him that he's not in the main event? Do you think he even cares about that anymore? Or do you think he's enjoying his time enough in WWE where that shit doesn't matter? He's making the money. He's having a good experience. He's putting on some of his best matches.
For me, if I had to put myself in his shoes, I would kind of be upset to where he's getting the biggest pops. He's selling. He's probably one of the top sellers of merch. Mm-hmm. So he's the number one guy there. And for a number one guy not to have a number one match at a Mania, I can kind of see how he's feeling hurt. But at the same time, does he care?
I don't think he cares anymore.
I don't know. But, maybe.
I don't think it's a hang up for him anymore.
I know. But it's kind of like they're alluding to it that like he is pissed off that he's not the main event.
Because it's a great story.
It is a great story.
It's a great story.
And it's there, and they're using it, and they're rolling with it, and fine. But like I said, as a fan, I really want him to get that moment. I want to see him in the match, main event, whether it's night 1 or night 2 or whatever. One of the main events, right? So I don't know. I think it bothers him maybe, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he's probably making more money than anybody on the show. So
okay, here's another one for you.
Yeah.
We had that obnoxiously long match between Kevin Owens. That was Sami Zayn. That was so long. It was brutal. It was a good match. I think it carried on a little too long, but I enjoyed it.
That's the only like downside of that whole pay-per-view was like, it was probably too long.
Yeah, it was a little too long. But outside of that, I thought it was great. And we got the return of Randy Orton. So you know where this is going.
Yep.
How do you feel about a Kevin Owens Randy Orton match at Mania? If that's where they're going with it.
I feel like they need to give Kevin Owens a nice Mania win. I feel like he's put over Steve Austin a few years ago, gave him a great match. I feel like he's done I feel like he's put over a lot of people over the past few years. And I have to look at his win-loss record in front of me, but I feel like I don't have a memorable Kevin Owens win at WrestleMania, and I feel like they need to give him some more credibility. I feel like
he main evented night 1 2 years ago, right?
Yeah,
and won the tag titles against the Usos with Sami.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah,
that was a main event win for a title.
Well, I guess that's true. Okay, I mean, I'm thinking like I think I felt bad ever since he lost with Steve Austin, and I'm like, when he came in really red hot to where he was the Universal Champion, like on his second night or whatever it was.
That's one of my hangups too. Was the one when he lost it to Goldberg.
Yeah,
because Goldberg and fucking Brock Lesnar needed a title.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, the hottest story at the time was him and Jericho.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it went back to, I think, when they didn't have a lot of championships, they just had that WWE championship. And at that time, you have guys like Kevin Owens who won the Universal, and then whatever got split away from him. But you had a lot of guys sitting in limbo who were main eventers that didn't have anything to fight for.
Yeah.
And when they didn't have anything to fight for, they kind of like lost stock, if that makes sense, to where. He
also started to blur the lines between the rosters too, which was confusing.
Yeah, so like during that period, he kind of went away from like being a main event player, and I don't think it's his fault, but it has to do with like they didn't really have these guys. The guys didn't have anything to fight for because the belt was on, whoever, Roman or whatever, forever. And then it was like, okay, even like I feel like Finn Balor falls into that category to where like he was a main event player, then all of a sudden dropped down because these guys didn't have anything to fight for. For Kevin Owens, I feel like he's done so much good. I feel like he's put over everybody they've had him go up against. And I feel like he needs that credibility now. So I was kind of surprised they gave him the win at Elimination Chamber, thinking that maybe like if they do like a little rubber match or whatever, if they come back for another match at WrestleMania, they would give him the win. But with this, now you have Orton coming over. I mean... Do you think they would give Kevin Owens the win over Orton at like a Mania? Or
I think so. I think he's earned it.
So exactly. I feel like he just needs that one solid win for that, and
because I think a win.
He's done a lot.
I think a win against Orton on a big stage like that, raises his stock and makes him. It doesn't matter if it's because I think they'll do a draft again after Mania. I think there's one scheduled.
Yeah.
So if he goes to Raw, I mean, I could see him. And maybe a program with Gunther. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
There's just plenty of people I'd love to see him work against.
And they just need to elevate him more again because he deserves it. And I feel like, he's that caliber player, especially he's going to be there for a while. He just re-signed his contract too. So he's going to be there like another 5 years or whatever it is. But like Orton could lose every match from now to the end of his career and it wouldn't affect him. He's still going to, like, people are still going to love him.
How much longer do you think we have him for?
I don't know.
I want to say him and Cena broke in around the same time.
No, I know. And I mean, he still looks great. He still can wrestle. I mean, maybe his body might be aging now to where he can't do as much as what he used to, but I think he's the last of a dying breed for them to where at one point he was the youngest guy on the roster, but now he's like that legend, if you will, that's been
you figure that
the longest
class
now.
Was him, Cena, and probably Brock.
Maybe Batista too.
Maybe Batista, yeah. But three
he's
of them
like the last of the dying breed.
Yeah,
I think so. Like if there's that's it. He's one of those main event guys that have been around, and I hope he doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. But at the same time, I don't. Days are getting shorter or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to happen this time. I'm excited to see Owens maybe get a win out of this. It was. I agree with you that it was kind of long. Going back to the Cena heel thing, man, it's shaping up what we're on the road to WrestleMania. So I mean, now that we're back, it's
got our attention. Right?
It is. So I can't say this enough because last year they're like, oh, this is Triple H's first Mania, and now we're kind of like in the ball of okay, this is all Triple H's stuff now, and what he's done to WWE, it's surprising that they wouldn't like listen to him before, like Vince or whoever just kind of like stuck to their old ways and did it by the book like they've been doing it for 50 years and they wouldn't change. And just there's like little nuances in wrestling that Triple H is bringing back, like the unsanctioned match. Like they made a big deal that it was unsanctioned.
The lights were off.
Like
that was
things
cool,
like,
yeah.
And it's like it's just from leaving.
AEW did that too. I think that was the one with who the did that? Didn't we watch one? Wasn't it like Daniel Bryan was one of them?
I forget. Yeah.
Whatever.
No, but no, like little things like that. I feel like just there's like little things that he's doing, and he's making it make more sense now when you see it. And I think everybody can appreciate that, especially as fans, because it's something that we know. We're like, oh, well, I remember back in my day they used to do it like this, and now they're doing it again. And
they're bringing back the old tradition. Well, so, let me ask you this now.
Yeah.
Obviously, wrestling has our attention again. It's the busiest time of the year.
Yep.
What's something outside of wrestling that has your attention that's taking you away from watching it?
I can't. I'm not saying I want to leave or end the show right now, but I can't wait to go home and watch Daredevil. I've been waiting.
I'm kind of with you on that one.
I had to go back and I had to Google it, and I was like, when did the other season come out? It was 10 years ago.
Was it that long?
10 years ago. The third it's like season? 1990 going back to 1980.
Has it been 10 years?
That blows my mind, and I'm like,
oh my God, I'm fucking old.
I know. Google it, kids. I mean, I'm not doing it right now.
No, it can't be. The third season?
The very first season of Daredevil when they brought it, like the new...
the very first season was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying the last season.
No, just the beginning of when they...
Oh, shut the fuck up. 10 years ago. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, okay.
But no, I'm excited for that. I think one of those when that show came out, just like the long fight sequence they had, it was different. Nobody else was doing it.
It was gritty. It was Netflix.
Yeah, so it was like
I hope they keep that same energy.
Man. So they got the same cast. They got the same people that are in it. I mean,
got John Bernthal as a Punisher again.
Yep, exactly. So I think they're even going to be doing more stuff.
Shoot him up. What?
I'm saying this is it.
I'm excited.
It's little things like that. I mean, I wouldn't suggest going to see Captain America Winter Soldier or what just came out, Captain America.
It's such a bad movie. We don't know the name. Was it bad?
So bad.
I didn't see
it.
There's
a lot to talk about.
Wait. You didn't think Harrison Ford made a good Hulk? You didn't think he was a believable Red Hulk?
The Hulk looked great, and I feel like that's what the Hulk really needs to go back to, is being a Hulk and not a professor. But needless to say, there's a lot of that could be its own podcast. You could read my official, I think, Rotten Tomato critique of it later on online. Google it, you'll find it. I really I hit him hard with it, Cooter. I almost said that Eternals was better than Captain America. This whatever Brave New World.
Fuck.
It was supposed to be called New World Order, and then they changed it. We would have all liked to see the New World Order Captain America.
I'll throw mine out here. Right?
All right.
I'm currently in a Sopranos rewatch.
Yeah.
I had to throw in a classic. I'm a big Sopranos guy.
Did that last year, yeah.
I'm up to the point where Ralphie finds out that Paulie was the one who snitched on him to Johnny Sack.
Yeah.
About the joke, and he calls up Paulie's mom at Green Grove. He was sucking a Cub Scout's dick.
He was what?
Oh my God! Do you take Blue Cross Blue Shield? But the other thing, I didn't even know it was out. I watched it last weekend. The last episodes of Cobra Kai.
Oh yes,
loved that. And that was. Let me tell you something, Credo. Yes, Chef's Kiss, because that's one of those shows where I felt last season they should have ended it. Do not jump the shark, because you're just trying to drag it out. And the first half of the season was really, really good, and I was curious where they're going to go with it. And it did not disappoint.
Nope,
it's
not
the
at all.
only show that I can think of off the top of my head, besides Sopranos, that was amazing from beginning to end. I mean, some seasons were better than others, but there were no bad seasons. And that entire cast, crew, writing staff, everybody, fucking incredible. Great nostalgia from the 80s. They got every character they could possibly get from all those movies. So well done.
No, 100%. And I think I talked to some guys I work with too, and I was like, as a fan growing up, Karate Kid was really big for our generation.
Oh, yeah.
Between that coming out and Ninja Turtles, everybody wanted to do karate after that, right? Like it was a thing growing up that was like part of our childhood. And to see it into catching up with it many years later, I love the beginning of the series, and the way it ended kind of put a bookmark on it. I think my only gripe with it is I wish they had more time to film it like a movie or more like cinematic, because
don't worry, you're getting another movie.
I know, but like when you make a TV show, they kind of have to film it faster and different, and you kind of get what you get, and they put it out. but like, it was still great. I was if they would have encapsulated this into like a regular movie or whatever, it would have been really good. But either way, it ended great. It was a fan service to any Karate Kid fan.
Oh yeah.
And I'm happy the way it ended.
Johnny gets redemption. It was just beautiful.
I couldn't even think of a series that really left on such a high note that made the fans happy in recent time.
Every single character had something good.
People hated the way Sopranos ended. People hated the way Lost ended. People, I can't think of a series.
I love the way Sopranos. It was a no-brainer. Yes, Tony dies. What? You needed somebody. They hounded that poor writer and that creator for years. To finally, it was like, you figure it out for yourself. Finally, years later, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, we know. Like no. Like some people are just so stupid.
But that's what nobody's doing with this, though, which is great because like everybody loved it. Everybody asked who watched it, like loves it.
Yeah.
That was definitely a great way to start 2025 too, and seeing that go out on top. And Karate Kid Legends, it looks great, and it kind of reminds me of like a Jackie Chan movie because there's that one shot where this kid jumps off the balcony or whatever.
Karate Kid Legends, what the f*** are you talking?
So that's a new Karate Kid movie coming out.
Is that the one with fucking Mr. Han?
Yeah, Mr. Han
and Daniel LaRusso?
Yes.
That's so no
relation to Mr. Miyagi. He just somehow finds Daniel LaRusso and. Two branches, one tree, or whatever. So anyway, I don't know what they say, but no. If you watch the trailer, there's a really cool scene where he does this like kick off a fire escape, and it reminds me of like old school Jackie Chan movies. So I'm kind of interested to see how they do this. I'm not saying it's Cobra Kai, but I mean, I'm open to see what this movie is. But that's another look ahead. But
I will watch it under one condition.
Yeah,
that Jaden Smith is not in it because he's terrible.
Well,
and on that note, Credo, that's a wrap. I want to drink another beer.
Real American beer, baby. What you gonna do when Credo and Cooter?
What you gonna do, brother? Call an Uber.
We'll see you guys. Hey, welcome back to season 10 or 9 or we're in another season, so this is the beginning of it.
Good night.